Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Wednesday, April 29th. 2 days left, today and tomorrow, of our 2 months of codependency and our book study of Too Much by Terry Cole. Few finishing thoughts today before we reflect on those 2 months tomorrow. Annette, what's next on our agenda?
Our last of Terry Cole's top 5 blocks to setting boundaries, which is lack of confidence. I'm going to read what she says. You may not feel confident in your ability to set and enforce boundaries. You might worry that you will not be taken seriously or that others will push back against your boundaries. Without confidence, it can be difficult for you to establish and maintain healthy boundaries. What I want to share about this last block is this is such a lived experience, and I have witnessed this, and it's a big but here.
It's a big but?
It's a big but. When you learn about boundaries, so Ada and I teach anywhere between 6 and 8 sessions on boundaries, depending on how fast our clients want to go and what they all want to cover. When you get clear about what a boundary is, when you understand how boundaries have shown up in your life, when you understand that it's okay to set a boundary, and who you want to set boundaries with, the whole story around boundaries. Once you get that foundation within you, it makes it easier. I'm not going to say it's always easy, but it makes it easier to set boundaries because you know that when you don't set a boundary, you're abandoning yourself. And that's part of this lack of self-awareness. Typically, we are not even aware that we are abandoning ourselves. But like we talked about yesterday, when we understand and we get that in our awareness that this isn't the way I want to live. I don't want to have all this conflict around me. I don't want to have these behaviors and misbehaviors as a part of my life. When we start becoming aware of the toll that some of these things are taking on us, then we can step forward from having a lack of confidence to having that confidence that is so integral for living a healthy life. You deserve to have a healthy life. You deserve to be able to speak up for your needs and your values without getting too much pushback. If you get too much pushback, something's wrong. But when you do get the pushback, to have the confidence of knowing what to do, understanding boundaries themselves and what it means to set a boundary and all the ins and outs of boundary setting, then it makes it a lot easier. It's interesting to me that right after these blocks to setting boundaries, she has the 24-hour rule. And her 24-hour rule is about boundary regret. And pretty much, if you can give yourself 24 hours, probably won't regret it. You won't regret setting the boundary. When you speak up for yourself and you know that you have inherent worth and you know that you do not need to hustle for your worth and you know that self-abandoning gets you nowhere, you're not going to regret setting boundaries. This is so true.
One thing I wanted to throw in when it comes to lack of confidence from someone who's not a high-functioning codependent, I would feel less confident when I didn't know what to say, like what words to use. I could have a feeling going on inside. I could say, these are the boundaries I want to set. But if I didn't know the right words to articulate that, I felt like I was stuck in the mud, just completely stuck.
So how'd you get unstuck?
Well, I first sought some advice from some trusted individuals who could help me with the words. And also, I just had to get out there and try. And even if it sounded messy or wasn't perfect, learning the right words came through practice and trial and error.
I also wasn't thinking about this, but I want to share it's okay if you have a shaky voice or you can even start to cry sometimes when you're setting boundaries and also making sure that people honor your boundaries. That's okay. We have a certain idea of what strength looks like, but that's just an illusion. Strength comes in so many different forms. Strength can be through my tears, I say what's true. Strength can be through my text message, I say what is true. It is okay to share your boundary through a text message. If you want someone that has some authority to say that it's okay, Terry Cole says it's okay. She said that over and over and over in our class. So setting boundaries through text is fine because sometimes people don't feel emotionally safe to say what you need to say in person. So make sure that you don't stay silent. Put it in a text. Before we end today, I don't believe we can talk about high-functioning codependency and boundaries without sharing this. If someone in your life has set a boundary, honor that boundary. Do not try to wiggle your way around it, manipulate the situation, become a boundary destroyer, or break the boundary when the person is maybe at their weakest or if they're vulnerable. If something's really upsetting happening and then you know that they're upset and they're distracted, so then you're going to break their boundary. It is not loving to break someone's boundary. It is not kind to break someone's boundary. When someone expresses to you, and they do not have to have perfect words, but when someone expresses to you what their boundary is, it is your responsibility to honor that boundary. Full stop.
I couldn't have said that better myself. That was beautiful, and you're spot on. You're so right about everything you said. In addition to not being boundary destroyers, we also shouldn't be boundary lawyers, which is where we split hairs about everything. If someone says, please use a coaster for your water. Oh, well, I wasn't drinking water today. I was having a soda. Okay. Don't, those splitting hairs, people do that. Is so frustrating. The general gist of the whole thing is use a coaster with your beverage on the table.
That's a manipulation tactic, and it is not loving and kind.
No, it's not. It's not. It's completely rude. And that's where, when someone tells us their boundaries, they're telling us, here's how you can love me. Here's how you can help support me in my life. Here's how you can make life more wonderful. And I love you enough to tell you. Life and relationships are so much better when we share our boundaries and when we honor other people's boundaries.
And if you know that you have dishonored or been a boundary destroyer to somebody else's boundaries, the only acceptable answer is an apology. And the only acceptable apology is changed behavior. So for today, I would like to share our intention. I will apologize to those whose boundaries I have dishonored, and I will change my behavior.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.